similar tip, but a tip that a lot of people are not really using because they're ashamed of using that. That's like the producer proud. Hey guys, welcome. I got again new gear. I got it by a friend, didn't pay anything for it. I still try to buy less gear for the studio. This right here is a special switcher that will actually help me to work a lot faster in the studio. It's basically like a patch bay, but way more convenient. You got mic inputs, preamp loops, so the mic goes in here, gets phantom power, and then you can loop it to different types of preamps. So you can just switch any kind of mic to any kind of preamp. This will go here into the rack and will be connected to the preamps, compressors, limiters, just to make this way more efficient, way faster than going to the back and switching cables all the time. And speaking of being faster and way more efficient, today I really need to hurry up. As you know, yesterday I started a song. I didn't feel like it's the right one to actually finish. The vocals are there, the lyrics are there. I recorded all of it with Julia. By the way, she's coming tomorrow here to the studio, to the vocal booth, some vocal recording. But yeah, I didn't feel the song, so I switched to another song, and now I really need to hurry up because I lost basically 2 days working on that song that I actually don't like. So let's just try to be as fast as possible. And all done. This was a nice, good, long session and really fast. A lot of people always ask me how to make music faster and how to finish songs faster. I got a couple of tips for you. The first one might be a not so obvious and maybe not that much related to making music. It's actually increasing the speed of your mouse or your trackpad. On my MacBook, it's always up to the fastest. This might be weird first because you move your finger just a little bit and it moves a ton, but just do it. You will get used to it within a day and then just wonder why you had it set to a slower speed. It's so much faster. You never have, for example, if you have a mouse, sometimes you get to the end of the screen, especially if it's a wide screen, you have to get it up, back down again. I mean, you get the point. Just put it to the fastest setting you can deal with. Another great way to be faster is whenever you have a sound that is nice, save it as a preset, reuse your own presets, make your own presets, maybe even spend an hour or two, maybe once a month to just dial in presets and be able to work faster, especially if you have a session, a singer waiting and you have to come up with some chords and nice synthesizer sounds. Because yes, you can let them sing to an acoustic version of your song, just piano, guitar maybe, but the feel is way different if you have some aggressive synthesizers that might be actually ending up in the song later. So make sure to save your presets, name your presets, organize them, and also use the ranking system. Most software synthesizers nowadays have a star ranking system. If you like the sound, give it 5 stars and you then can just list them by the ranking of the stars. Especially with synthesizers like Omnisphere, where it really loads long when you change the preset. It's really important to just get those ranks all done. Basically the same also applies to your samples. Organize them as good as you can. Delete the ones that you just don't like and don't use. Also make a special folder. I have like my Jon Sine sample folder with all of the stuff in it that I constantly use, mainly kicks. The kick sound is so important for electronic dance music. If you find a kick that works, just reuse it. Will make mixing a ton easier. Sample claps, snares, effect sounds. This will also help to develop your own sound if you reuse things that you just like. And of course, save a ton of time. You don't have to go to millions and millions and millions of samples. Sometimes it's better to restrict yourself. You should also 100% restrict yourself to less plugins. I know a lot of people that have tons and tons and tons of plugins. That's first of all expensive, and it's also preventing you from getting to know your plugins really well. I think you can get away with just 3 synthesizers. For me, it would be definitely Diva and Serum. The third one, I'm not really sure, probably Contact, just like for the sampled and piano stuff. And you can basically make with that everything you want. You don't need like a million of them. So really narrow it down and get to know your plugins, software synthesizers. Next up, shortcuts. Of course, they will make your life a lot easier and faster. if there are things that you do quite a lot, set up your own shortcuts for certain tasks. For example, I like to have on a special key my shortcut for putting notes into legato. So whenever I play them and I don't play them perfectly, I just hit Q to quantize them. And then for me, it's actually the dot on the keyboard to make them legato. By far my biggest personal time saver are definitely auto loads. I have one set up with all of my plugins on the buses, reverbs, delays, speeds up your process a lot. If you don't have an auto load or like a template that you always start with, do one immediately. I actually made an entire video about it. I will link it up there. It's so important, speeds up everything by a lot. Also, like the plugins on my master chain, they're always there already set up, so I can just engage them and it already sounds pretty good. Similar tip, but a tip that a lot of people are not really using because they're ashamed of using that. That's like the producer proud. You sometimes have to overcome it. It's really totally cool to use presets, to use samples. At the end it counts what the song sounds like and if people like it or not. So you could just open up your last project and get rid of all of the musical parts, keep the drums, maybe even keep the bass sound, and start making the next song. Yes, it might sound a little similar, but you still at any point can change it, and it will speed up your process by a ton because you can focus on the creative part because the drumming and the selection of sounds is already done. And then if it's too similar to your previous song, just change it up. I actually do that every once in a while if I got like writer's block. Open up the last song, delete the MIDI and just start writing. So much easier. It just gives you a head start by a ton. This way you can just produce one song after another, and once you get bored, just change it again. I mean, you're still free to do whatever you want, so don't be afraid to do that. That's actually common practice, especially like for the big superstar DJs and producers. They do that every single time. The biggest improvement to speed for me personally was always room acoustic and then speakers. If you can hear what you do, it's less guessing, less comparing it on other systems. If you're wondering why your song doesn't translate on other systems, why you're guessing on headphones, the bass is too much, on speakers it's too little, it's all down to your room acoustic on your speakers. Get that fixed. I know it's the most expensive, the most time consuming, but it is definitely getting you the most. As you know, here we got the corner absorbers, the entire ceiling is absorbed, the entire back wall. We got those huge nice speakers in the studio. The only thing is a desk is missing and proper stands, but it already sounds really good. I can really tell if something is mixed properly or if there's still mistakes in the mix. It's so much easier if you can just hear what you're doing, because most of the time you're mixing, again mixing because you're not satisfied, again mixing, and since I fixed those issues, it's just, I mix it once and it's done. If you don't have the money, if you don't have the room for room acoustic treatment, a little trick that might also speed up your working process is actually using an analyzer. I use Span by Voxengo. It's a free analyzer. You just install it, have it as the last plugin in your mastering chain, and you can look at it, and by looking at it, kind of figure out if there are frequencies sticking out of the mix. Things you might not be able to hear. Don't mix by looking at it completely. It's just like a tool that should help you to point out if there might be a mistake or frequencies resonating, being harsh. Just use it as a tool to help you maybe getting around not having like the perfect studio setup. Another common sense kind of tip is really to do breaks. It might be counterintuitive because you think no breaks and you're faster because you're spending more time making music, but you will hit that point where your ears are tired, where you're tired, you don't have any ideas. Just don't work when you're in that kind of mood and situation. Just take a break, do something else. Spending less time making music, thinking about music will give you more enjoyment when you then get back to making music. So I think maybe a 4-hour session should be absolute max, then do a break of like half an hour, then maybe 2-3 more hours, and spend the rest maybe on business stuff, because that's also really important as a music producer or DJ to take care of that, because you also want to have an income. Also use your time to learn things, how to work with synthesizers, how to work with your plugin, with your DAW, new techniques. Just keep yourself informed. because this way you will definitely have an advantage. The last tip for today, and maybe the most important, because we're all nerds and we can get really nerdy, but being nerdy actually prevents you from making music. I know so many people that know everything about every single plugin, about every single knob. They're the ones online being the loudest and like the most opinionated, but just cut it. Just focus on making songs, making music. That's what it's all about. Don't be too nerdy. It can prevent you from actually being a musician. You don't want to be like a music production nerd. You want to be a music producer. There's definitely a difference. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If I forgot anything, just leave it down below in the comments. We will see us tomorrow back again here in the studio, where I can finally show you what I've been working on today. Second song with Julia. She's also coming by tomorrow. So an exciting day here in the studio making music.